Trying to figure out what the fuck you were looking for. Alright. So, they fight the robot. They defeat the robot. They put the transformer and plug it up, and a big old beam of light goes up through the ceiling, and they don't know where it goes. What this did was, there was a group, I don't want to say the Avengers. I'm thinking like Fantastic Four. You know how they had the high-rise base with all the computers and shit in it? Well, this was to power that. Well, Dr. Doom wanted to get into their computers. But as big as the computers are, if he'd have hooked it up, the Sorry would have seen the power drain and known somebody was in there. So he's using this transformer to power up their lab, their computers, download all the information and get the hell out of there before the Sorry show up. Because when this beam of energy comes up, somebody's going to know. So anyway, fighting the robot, they had suffered casualty. The Iron Man guy that had been with them got fucked up. So they carry him out. The undergrounders, they didn't go into the lab with them. They stayed outside. So the undergrounders take him back to the entrance so they can go back home. Well, Lexicon gets stuck carrying the dead guy. Now, here again, DM makes a mistake. Being a new system, there's a few things that I don't have down pat. I'm reading a lot of different rules and game systems, so all this shit running through my head, some shit fell through the cracks. And the after game wrap up, or after fight wrap up, I had done wrong. The guy actually had a chance to live. Now, I didn't find this out till one night after we were done gaming. I was looking something else up for Jim, and came across the after game thing. Well, that night, before we had quit, Lexicon carries him out. Well, they go and bury him because he's dead. You know, they can't take him to a hospital or to the morgue or something, so they decide to bury him. Well, they bury him real close to their hideout. Now, they bury him, and we call it a night. Well, the next time we start gaming, you know, they're just getting back, they're licking their wounds, their Blackberry or their Palm Pilot or whatever that the Dr. Doom gave them hits them up. Says, hey, you know, the guy that was with you, your Iron Man guy, I'm getting sporadic readings from him. Now, they had gotten paid. They collected the money for the adventure. They were going to keep the guy's money, so they don't want to tell Dr. Doom he's dead because they want to keep his money. So they go back, dig him up. He's breathing. He's fucked up, but he's still breathing. So they go back in the sewers, and they find the undergrounders, and they figure since they're supposed to give them supplies, medical supplies, they should have a doctor. So before they go into the tunnels, they go and get the supplies that they had promised to bring back. they bought like $2,000 worth of shit. Food, medical supplies. Now, when I say medical supplies, they just went to like CVS and grabbed shit off the shelves. They didn't get anything good. So anyway, they go down there. They bring them supplies. They're like, hey, you know, the guy that we carried out that was dead. Well, he wasn't dead. He was just really fucked up in a coma. You know, everybody thought he was dead, but he wasn't. We need help. So they get a doctor. Now, on the way back, or while they're gone, one of the guys had stayed at the base and had put the guy in a bath and got him all cleaned up, you know, because he's got dirt in his hair. They buried him. So they cleaned him up, got him in one of the bedrooms back at the base. Above the office space was a 2-bedroom apartment. So they get a doctor. Doctor looks him over, says, hey, you know, he's going to be all right. Here's some medicine to give him, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, in the talks, the doctor tells him that, you know, hey, the supplies you gave me was great, but, you know, we really needed better supplies, you know, not just the generic Tylenols. We need, you know, this and that. So the guys decide that they're going to knock off a CVS or a drugstore type store. They're going to go in and jump behind the counter and get the good drugs. So they promise the doctor that they'll be back. So the doctor goes back down in the hole. Well, meantime, Jim and Lexicon want to go check on their boat because they haven't checked it out since, you know, they had parked it there. So they go and check on their boat, make sure it's going to be all right. On their way back, they see a robbery taking place on a corner store. You know, 2 guys come running out, firing guns. You know, they were sitting at a stoplight on the corner, and you hear the gunshots inside. You know, a few seconds later, 2 guys come running out. So they let them get down, going down the street. Light turns green. They follow. Jim jumps out because they turned into an alley. The 2 guys running went into an alley. So Lexicon stops the car. Jim gets out, runs into the alley. Lexicon pulls into the alley to block the alley that way off. Jim handles the 2 guys. He knocks them off and robs the robbers. They're villains after all. So instead of taking the money back, being villains, you know, they punished the bad guys, but they kept the money. And Lexicon took the one guy's mask, or he had Jim grab the mask, because the one guy was in costume, the other guy was just a regular street gang member or whatever. So they go back. They don't tell anybody about them knocking these guys off. Well, Jim, Lexicon, and Alan decide to go knock off the drugstore. Now, they ought to be thankful that I was DMing, because they blundered this to all beat hell. Jim runs in the back. They had cased it out like the day before. They knew that there was an armed guard inside, and there was usually 2 guys in the pharmacy and 2 guys, when I say guys, people, employees, doesn't matter if they're male or female, but there was 2 in the pharmacy and 2 running the counter, stocking shelves and whatnot. So there's 2 running the store, 2 running the pharmacy, and then an armed guard. Well, when they go to knock this place off, they park a few doors down in a parking lot and walk up. They put on their masks outside of the place on the side. Cameras. The only one that didn't need to put on a mask was Alan, because he wears the hoodie and he had a bandana on underneath. But with the hoodie being over nobody's seen his face. Because, you know, he put on his bandana, but his face was covered. Jim and Lexicon, they don't know if their picture was gotten or not. That's a little side note. They didn't realize it at the time. But they didn't want to walk down the street with masks on, because then somebody would have known they were getting ready to rob somebody. But anyway, Jim runs in. He runs straight to the back, jumps over the counter in the pharmacy, pretty much tells the guys to get down.